variables and system variables. Okay, so now let's first discuss about the system variables. So what is meant by system variables? So system variables are the variables that defined by a system. So it is not user defined variable. The purpose of these system variables are to get a required, like a standard output is needed. Like what is the flow of records from the input to output? What is the partition number that is that we are passing when we are extracting the data? Okay, so we have different types of system variables. The first one is, so there is an option like if you want to set a variable like system variable like at the rate, a false, a statement that you want to set as a true or false. Okay, so this is one option. In general, we won't use this, and other option we have is this one, like in row number. What is the records that is coming from the input? In row number, and our third one we have is out row number. So out row number in the sense, what is the data that is going from the output link? So in row number means what is the data that is coming from the input link. So in basically, if you want to count the records, suppose if you want to count the records, okay, so the best option is you can use this row number function. Normally, in a sequence variable, when you design a job sequence, there we will give these options. Okay, so that example, that scenario, we will discuss while creating this job sequence. So just for understanding, so what are the system variables are there in the DataStage that we will discuss today. And the fourth one is the partition number. So partition number partition. Okay, so let's discuss what is a partition number. So any idea what is a partition number? Partition number. Partition number. Any clue? So normally in SQL we'll have this partitions, right? What is a partition number? Partition number.
Is it partition SQL statement or is it a kind of table?
Oh, it's not. So see, here we have a mechanism, partition mechanism, right, in DataStage.
Yes.
So what are those partition mechanisms? Like partition number, partition. So there will be a partitioning. So what is the partition that we have? Okay, so which partition the data has? Okay, so if you not aware, not a problem. We will discuss now.
Okay.
So, yeah. So it generates a number that in which partition the record is in. So number partition number. Okay. So I'm considering a single job. I'm designing a job. So I have defined the rows for using row generator. 100 records I have considered. This is the 100 records. I have given ID and a name. So ID, and I have generated a initial value from 1 and increment 1, and the maximum limit is 999. And I am considering a string that is cyclic, that is the DataStage. I have given a name. Okay. So by default, the system is defined in 2 nodes. Okay. So how the system will behave? Let's see that. Okay. So what is the in row number and what is the out row number, and what are the other options we have? So like partition number. Okay. So 3 I am giving here, and number partition. Okay. So these are the system variables. So now how to define that? Okay. So here the data is not coming from source. Okay. So but we are deriving the data in the target. So this concept is called as a data scraping. So how to define that? So double click on here, number in the derivation. Go to system variables. So these are the system variables. It's opening, just a minute. So false, true. See, whenever there is a case, like if you want to send a false or true statement, that we can send. And here in row number. In row number means the input. What is the input record that we are getting? That number it will send to from the input to output. And similarly for the output, it will count the records in the output link. That is out row number. And iteration means it's a looping variable. Iteration means a looping variable. Suppose we have looping variables in C, C++, Java programs, right? So similarly, DataStage has a looping variables. So that looping variables exercise we will discuss later in upcoming exercise. So when we are converting rows into columns, columns into rows, those kind of scenarios. Have you heard about this pivoting concept in Excel? The similar way we can achieve the result using DataStage code, DataStage program. Here, by using the concept of iteration. Iterations means the maximum number of the limit of the iteration. It starts with the 1 and the increment by so and so value up to the limit. Okay, so that example we will see in later exercise. And partition number and number partition we will discuss now. Okay, so how the number will be defined. So here it is partition number. Give this one. And number partition. Number partition. Okay, and we have false for parsing. And we have true. So how this will behave, we will see now. Okay. So now we will define for similarly for this also. Sorry, I have checked in the now system variables. So here this one is false. And similarly, I will define for true as well. System variables, true. Okay. So how the output will behave based on the partitions, now we'll see. Now click on OK and define the target file name. Okay, so give the location of the file name. System variables.txt, and you can give the first line as header as true option. So the format we can consider comma separated file, and okay. So now compile this job. Just a minute. So it's in compiling. Okay. So job compilation got completed. Now click on. Okay, run the job. So you can see here job started executing. Just a second. Okay, so you can see here 100 records got loaded. So let's see here in the target system. This is a file name we have given, right? Okay, so let's observe in data stage. Okay, so what we have understood. Okay, so here in row number, we have considered how many records from the input, how many records, 100 records, right? So it starts with 1 and it entry, it considers 100 records. Okay, so if you see here, it is considered 50, 50. The reason is it is job is running in 2 nodes. So that is the reason it has first entry, it consider 1 to 50. And for the second node, it has starts with 1 again. So that is the reason 50. So 100, you can see here, 50. So here also the outro number will be the same. Okay. And if you see the partition, partition number is 1. Okay. If you scroll down, and for the second partition, it considered as 0. So initially it starts with the partition number. By default, it starts with 0 and it will be 1. And next will be 1. Okay. And the number of partitions. How many partitions are there? So how many partitions are there? We have only 2 partitions in this system. Under 2 nodes. That means 2 nodes it is running. So here, if you see here, false and true. So it is giving an indication. So whenever if you give a true option, that means it is considered as a 1 value. So if you are validating an expression, okay, so I can close this. This is no more needed. Okay. So whenever you are if you, at the rate true, if you give means what happens? It will consider 1 value. If it is 0, 0 means false. Okay. So now I will do one thing. I will run the job in 1 node. Let's see that. So to change the job from 2 node to 1 node, we need to make the we need to give the configuration file. So go to the job properties. So this is the job properties option. Go to the job properties, file name, parameter, add environmental variables. So here you can choose this configuration file. Where is this? This is the one configuration file. So you can choose the default is 2 nodes. So if you want to change, you can change. So I will run in 1 node. Okay. Let's see that. Now click on OK. Save the job, compile the job and run the job. Now you can see the difference. If you're running in 1 node, what will be the output? Just a minute. Okay. Let's run the job. Okay, so let's see the output. Okay, so partition number, it starts with only whenever it is a single node. So it starts with 1 and ends with 100. Okay, so the maximum number of records. So the partition number, it starts with 0. Have you noticed that? So it all entry it has given 1 and the number of number partition. So what is meant by number partition? So we have only how many nodes that has been declared here. Okay, so here we have only one node, single node, right? That is the reason node number 1. So false and true, this is a, if it is true means it will give 1, and if it is false means it will give 0. Okay, so now I will modify the code. Is it clear? Any doubts here?
Yes,
Yes.
it's clear.
Okay, okay. Yeah, now I will do one more thing. I can make the change to 4 nodes. Okay, so how to modify the configuration file? Let's see that. Okay, so how to modify the configuration file? Go to tools. Okay, so configuration. So we have one node and we have default is 2 nodes. So I will make small change here. So I will copy this and I will increase the node capacity to 4 node. Okay, so I will copy here the code and I will add 2 more nodes to the system. Okay, this is node 3, node 4. Like how many nodes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Copy Control A. Rest of the options is same. Control A and you new. Click on new to give the new configuration. Click Control. Now save this. Click Save Configuration File as. Save on 4 node. Okay. Click on OK. Close. Okay. So I will run this job again. So here I will make 4 node. Okay. Now click on OK. Click on Run. Okay, so it got completed. Now we can see the output. Okay, we'll see here 4 nodes, 25 records. This is the node entry. Let's see that. See how many nodes are there. It starts with 25. 4 nodes means 100 records divided by each node will have 25 records. Okay, 25 again 25 again 25. Okay, like that. So here it's partition number starts with 0, 1, 0, 1, and 2, 2, and 3. See, we have 3. Have you noticed that? 3. Okay. And number of nodes, 4. Okay. So this is about system variables. So how to work with iterations, looping iterations, that we will see now. We'll take a small exercise, an example. Okay, so here also I'm considering one record entry. Okay, so here I'm considering company name, product, and the nature of the business systems. I have given only one record here. Click on OK. So how many times this record this want to be displayed? So let's see that. So organization name concatenates with the first and for company name and the nature of business. Okay. So the next one is unique entry. How many times it want to be repeated? Okay. So here the looping condition we have given I have made a parameterized. Okay. So the iterations greater than or equal to 4. So let's run this. Now you can understand. Okay. So let's save this. So I will explain this. I mean, like in while pivoting Excel concept, no. So that time I will explain. I mean, that we will do one more exercise there. So just suppose I want to display 5 times iteration. Okay. Let's see this. Okay. So organization name I have concatenated it. So Radar systems. So iteration loop is 5 times. I have given 5, right? That is the reason it came as 5. Okay. So here I have given hyphen arg2 underscore. I have given hyphen. So those things I will show here one more time. So here the concatenation logic. How this works means I will tell you. So first we need to do this input string name, that is company name. So that concatenate. Okay. And if you need space, just give one single space. Again, click on concatenate and input business services. Okay. So if you see here, similarly I have given hyphen here. Have you noticed that? Okay. And rest of the records I am populating as it is. Here in the iterations I use looping variables. So iteration greater than or equal to 4. So if I give 10 times it will come. Let's see that. I will run the job one more time. I will give 10. Okay. Let's see this. Okay, so 10 times it came, right? Is it clear the iteration how it works? Okay, any questions here? Any questions? No questions. What about Gul? No questions, right? Perfect. So now we have discussed about system variables.